Hi everyone, it's Matt Ellis, your instructor for ORL 201, Organizational Leadership. And we're now into Bowman and Deal's Symbolic Frame portion. There's a few things that I want to share with you and make sure that you're aware of as you do the reading through this section. And one is that there are many key concepts that are associated with the symbolic frame. For example, myth and values and vision. Bowman and Deal talk about myths as things that transform organizations into rewarding institutions and an all-encompassing way of life. And that's very different feeling from sort of this work-life balance that's very, very prevalent in our organizations today. Talking about myths as an all-encompassing way of life for you and how you work in your organization is somewhat different. So keep an eye on the concept of myth. Of course, values are the things that characterize what an organization stands for. Think of your superheroes as truth, justice, and the American way, motherhood and apple pie, or things, for example, in my organization, the values of public service and innovation are very important, and these are the things that would get you up in the morning. I would stand for this because my organization stands for this. Another symbolic frame concept that's important is the idea of vision. And of course, vision is an inspired image of the future. It compels us to move forward and act accordingly to reach that vision. Other concepts that Bowman and Deal focuses on are heroes and heroines, ritual, the things that we would do every day that define our organization and define how people behave, stories, ceremony, and the concept of culture, in that culture is a way of life. It's how the citizens of an organization behave because there are established ways of doing things. And then within that not within the organizational culture, but above the organizational culture is the national culture. And Bowman and Deal set out to prove that national culture has a strong influence on the way organizations act. So keep an eye out for that. There are also three cases that we look at. One is Nordstrom's, one is Continental Airlines, and then the Eagle Group. And the Eagle Group has a specific leader I want you to keep a lookout for. His name is Tom West, and how he is very much a driver of that organization, but has some very interesting characteristics that make up how he performs his leadership duties. Another area is the idea of humor and play and irreverence, and you'll see that in the Eagle Group case, how really in the Eagle Group the inmates run the asylum, and that's a very successful behavioral template for those employees. They need very little management, but they need a good deal of leadership. So look at that to see the difference between management and leadership, and how Tom West interacts in terms of play and irreverence, and how some of the other leaders act in terms of play and humor and irreverence. Finally, Bowman and Deal talk about, in the symbolic frame, the concept of soul. And soul is a very non-scientific concept, but really what they're saying is that the soul is a feeling about the importance of work. And it's the experience that the employees have in the organization, how they feel about what they do. And ultimately, Bowman and Deal say peak performing employees work best when their team discovers its soul. And that's a very powerful and yet very ambiguous concept within the idea of the symbolic frame. So we'll also be looking a little bit at soul. So this is very different from a structural frame, which has a lot of quantitative metrics, structure, rules, regulations, measurable elements within it. Symbolism is much more ethereal, much more from the heart, and less measurable. So keep an eye on that in the symbolic frame, and I look forward to your posts and your journal entries as we go through these areas. So finally, call me if you need me. You should be working on your final projects, and I look forward to seeing all your hard work pay off at the end of the year. You're doing a great job, and continue the good effort. Bye.